Mr. Advisor, why stationed by the owl? The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge, ripened with wisdom. That is the response of the FFA advisor in FFA's opening ceremonies. It is a response that Ralph Dreessen has taken to heart during his nearly 50 years in agricultural education. The oldest of 9 children, Ralph was born on January 1, 1918, to A.N. Bat and Goldie Smith Dreessen. Ironically, he was born the same year the United States vocational education system was implemented. They would grow up together. Honing his skills on the family farm southwest of Guthrie, Ralph graduated from Nevina High School in 1935. The following year, he entered Oklahoma A&M, earning BS and MS degrees. In 1940, Ralph married and began a family. He and his wife Lenora had 3 children, Phil, Carolyn, and Nick. With an intense desire to help young ag students, Ralph joined the faculty of Lamont High School in 1940, then moved to Guthrie in 1941. Because of his dedication and skill as a teacher, the VOAG and FFA programs at Guthrie were recognized for outstanding judging teams in most areas of the VOAG curriculum. 6 teams represented Oklahoma in national FFA judging contests. Guthrie also won the Sweepstakes Trophy in the OSU Interscholastics in 1950. The National FFA also recognized Guthrie in 1950 for its program of work. In 1951, Ralph joined the State Department of Vocational and Technical Education as a district supervisor. Over the next 37 years, he would become a recognized leader in the state and national FFA organizations and the Oklahoma ag community. He was recognized by OSU as a graduate of distinction in animal science in 1970 and in agricultural education in 1981. He served as the president of the National Association of Agricultural Supervisors in 1976-77 and was honored by the group as its outstanding member in 1980. Ralph was elected to the National Board of Directors of the National FFA organization for 2 terms, 1973 to 1975 and 1980 to 1982. Ralph also knew the pain of loss. In 1962, his wife Lenora passed away. 3 years later, he remarried, making Ruby Andrews his bride. Also joining the family was Ruby's daughter, Gwen Peatling. As a teacher, supervisor, and FFA advisor, Ralph has seen many changes in agricultural education. Among those are the move from an emphasis on agriculture production to the many areas of agribusiness, the admission of girls into the FFA, the merging of the FFA and NFA organizations, and the addition of farm business management programs. In addition, the Oklahoma FFA Foundation and the Oklahoma FFA Alumni Association were established, becoming strong support groups for the FFA. Today, with his family, including 7 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren, his friends, and his professional associates, Ralph is still working on behalf of agricultural education. Ralph Dreessen still believes the most important part is the teacher. What the teacher does for the students and their ability to motivate students is the most important aspect of vocational education. The rest of us are just here to support them while providing leadership, he says. Ralph Dreessen, a 50-year leader in agricultural education.
I take pleasure in presenting Ralph Dreessen as a Hall of Fame inductee. Ralph was concerned that I might get up here and brag on him too much. I said, Ralph, you know I wouldn't do a thing like that. Besides, if I did, it ain't bragging if you've done it. I'm here to tell you Ralph Dreessen has done it for 55 years and still doing it today. Ralph's philosophy is, VOTEC education is just one big family, and as long as I can make a contribution to the young folks of this state, then I will intend to be active. When Ralph was about 13 years old, he worked with a black gentleman on the home farm at Guthrie. While the two were cutting wood one day, the elderly man said, Ralph, someday you're going to be a very important person. Well, needless to say, Ralph got a big laugh out of that. I wonder who's laughing tonight, Ralph. I would like to expand on the list of accomplishments that were given in the introductory remarks. Ralph assisted in the establishment and supervision of the Oklahoma Young Farmer Organization. He was chosen as the honoree for the nation's largest FFA and 4-H livestock show in Oklahoma City in 1988. He received special recognition for his contribution to the National Land, Pasture, and Range Judging Contest. One of his greatest contributions to the FFA organization was establishing the Oklahoma FFA Foundation in 1985 as a financial support group for FFA. This foundation had already generated nearly $1.5 million in support of the FFA. Just immediately after that, the National FFA Board of Directors awarded their VIP citation on him in 1988. That same year, Ralph proved that he would accept an honor and an accomplishment from almost anyone when the University of Oklahoma, and I did say University of Oklahoma, bestowed the Arch Alexander Award of Excellence on him for his lifelong commitment to VOTEC education on a state and national level. As great as Ralph's accomplishments have been, we really haven't done him justice until we look at him as a person. You know, Ralph could easily be the guy that said, "I never saw a man I didn't like." He could also have written that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. These two traits alone really tell us what Ralph Dreessen is all about. He looks and he looks until he finds the good in a person that he says is always there. He is at his very best when he has the opportunity to greet old friends and meet new people. I would like to read some comments made by the people of Guthrie. Back in 1951, Ralph had taught there as a VOAG teacher for 10 years. He was on his way to the state staff here at Stillwater. And in trying to paint Ralph in a situation like he should be, I'm just going to rely on these comments that the Guthrie people made after he had been their VOAG teacher. And we can fully say tonight that these terms fit Ralph here today. Okay, we know, this is words from Guthrie community, we know that Ralph has a leadership that consists of self-assurance, which comes from attaining one's aspired goals. He has confidence in his own ability and in the ability of the people with whom he works. He is characterized by sound judgment, tempered by a world of practical experience. He has shown competitive spirit, the desire to win, and the will to do what is right and necessary to get the job done. We recognize his bigness, the kind that understands, exercises discretion, and bears no malice at any time. His good citizenship and interest in our community has been proven even to the extent of neglecting his own interest. He's a good sport, capable of sincere friendship, humble, honest, and kind. He is at all times just Ralph Dreessen. When he greets one with that friendly smile and that solid handshake, we know, that's the people at Guthrie, we know it's from the heart, a big, big heart. The Guthrie community, after 10 years, can proudly say, that's our boy. So here tonight, 45 years later, the VOTEC family assembled here can say, here's our boy, Mr. Ralph Dreessen.
Thank you, Don. I don't know how many threatenings I've had about how long I could talk. But I'd have to say that after Don's remarks, the best I could do is say thank you and sit down. And that's truly almost how I feel. Almost. You know, when I joined the staff back in '51, it was a staff similar to my immediate family, after about the fourth child. Being one of 9 children, there were others that came along. And that's kind of the way the Votek family has grown. You know, as the oldest, you see all the rest of them born and appear on the scene. Somehow or another, Mom and Dad seemed to love each one of them just as much as they did me. And we were pleased to know that that was the way it actually was. As we grew, each one of us loved each other, knew that we would support each other, and this Votek family has grown. Look how many children there are in it now, and how many more probably. Somehow or another, age doesn't determine how many more can be on the way when it comes to educating people. As he mentioned, there are a lot of things that have been done. But I'd say a lot of the national recognition that Ralph Dreessen may have received was because of the reputation of the Oklahoma Votek family. They wanted to have someone that represented Oklahoma's Votek system on some of those awards and some of those recognitions. And I happened to be available. And the different changes that have taken place, and I'm pleased to see many of those people who represented those changes down through the years. When we had our FFA alumni as a support group, one of our own members was #1 member of the alumni group, Harry Birdwell. He was a past national president. At the drawing, when they gave charter numbers, his was #1. And Mrs. Sokolowski was one of the early presidents of our National Alumni Organization, which has been a strong support group. The leadership aspects of our alumni group every summer, at very little cost to the State Department or the taxpayers, the alumni organization conducts a leadership program every summer. Past 2 summers, over 800 FFA members participated in a leadership program at our summer camp. As Don mentioned, the foundation, we had which has been an outstanding support group. Over $100,000 is handed out each year in the way of awards through our foundation. The Young Farmer Group, many of those young farmers become school board members. They become supporters of the local Votek program. They become supporters of our state organization. They become maybe legislators, other leaders in farm organizations. I think the opportunity to work with those young farmers has been outstanding. The curriculum has been changed down through the years. A former student of ours from Guthrie, who headed up the curriculum department, Ronald Meek, started developing curriculum for all of vocational education. Did an outstanding job, and the curriculum department has continued to grow after he deceased. But whatever success I may have had was the direct result. You saw some of the accomplishments of the Guthrie chapter. Outstanding FFA members that came in and worked, committed themselves and dedicated themselves to success, set some goals. The support of that community was responsible for encouraging them. As a staff person, outstanding staff members provided that support. Our secretarial staff, as was mentioned, I firmly believe that the success of the program has to be a teacher. You know, it wasn't too long ago at a summer conference, in fact this summer, I wasn't there to hear him say it, but Dr. Floyd Coppage, Secretary of Education, gave some remarks, and a number of you did hear him. Some of you did not. But anyway, he was giving an illustration of a young man that was having problems in school. And he ran into a teacher in an auto mechanics class out at Francis Tuttle Area Vortex School, Bruce. And there that teacher motivated that student, got him involved in some other things, and set some goals. And today, Dr. Coppage said that he is a success, primarily due to that teacher. And he knew about this individual because he was his son. And there's parent after parent after parent out there that can relate to how some teacher has helped their particular son or daughter. So it is important, as these supervisors are identified and people working with those teachers, that they have experienced as a teacher themselves, have some knowledge of how to be a success. I know when I started teaching, all the people on the state staff, we recognized them as outstanding teachers when they were in the field. Dick Fisher is here, one of the recipients of this same honor, just a few days ago, a couple of years in fact. But anyway, Dick back in 1940 took me under his wing as a young teacher at Guthrie and helped me. And this capability of teachers helping each other through PI meetings, professional organizations, and you can depend on them. We could go on and on. I attended a funeral this week of a former ag teacher, and the preacher who was conducting the service was talking about the importance of teachers. He talked about his parents as teachers. He talked about his Sunday school teacher as a teacher. He talked about Leonard Hunter as a teacher and the influence that teachers have. You know, students are teachers too. We learn from them. And tonight I would like to say that that black man who was working on our farm, we rode the cultivator up and down the roads and worked doing chores. Charles Lindsay was his name when he said, someday you're going to be important. And we can truly say tonight, because of the Oklahoma Votech Foundation, I do feel important and say thanks to you. Each one of us can share with someone else by telling them they are important and help them set some goals for themselves. Thank you very much.